Overwatch time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Figma number 427. It's Mercy from Overwatch. Everybody's favorite character. Just kidding. Everybody always complaining about the healing, about the ult, and then they change the ult and blah 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 blah. But I'm not here to talk about that. I want to have a look at the figure because, as I've been saying, I think in pretty much all of my Overwatch reviews, I love the designs of these characters. That's what Blizzard does best. Cool designs for cool characters. So let's have a look how Figma did. It's pretty much impossible to pose this figure without the base, so I'm not gonna bother trying. Well, I did for a little bit, but I gave up pretty quickly. She stands at about to the top of her head. That would be about 16 centimeters. If you're going top of the head, it's like 14 and a half overall size, and 40 inches. That means 7 inches overall to the top of the head, and getting close to like 6. Overall look and detail of the figure. I want to have a look at the face. I love the face sculpt. With Farah recently, we had a bit of an issue. The face looked pretty weird, but no problem here. It's very nicely printed on. It looks accurate, has that little bit of cartoony vibe that we have in Overwatch. Now for the hair sculpt, I love the way it's molded. It's very spiky and the flow of it overall. But here's one thing that you can debate about as much as you want. The hair is painted in a little bit of a metallic. And I think that looks good, so I don't hate it. Obviously it's hair, and it shouldn't be metallic, because why have metallic hair? So, again, personally, I like it. Then you have the golden halo going around. Obviously that is also metallic. And you got the wings in the back. Overall, the paint job on this one is clean. You got all the mechanical detail. You got the little crosses. Those are a bit sloppy, but they're really, really small. You got the red dot in the back. You got the nice logo on this side. Let me zoom in. Very, very small detail. Nicely done. Printed on there. And as you can tell, there's a tiny bit of bleeding in the white, but I'm zooming in so much right now. Same thing for the gold that goes around her neck. That's just a really thin line. Can get a little bit messy. What I really like about the figure is they cut up the shoulder pads over here. So if you move it around, this will split automatically, but it looks clean and nice if it's just standing there with the shoulders down. And then you got some brick boobies. And you got the nice orange, which seems like it has a little bit of layers and looks a little bit brighter on this part. Just a tiny bit. Why am I tripping? No, it definitely goes a little bit into a darker tone as you move down. And then you get the fists and her robe. Same thing, go from the orange more into the red. This is completely soft plastic. As I move around to show you actually the detail in the back, let me take her off the base so you can actually admire the nice paint job on it. Also got some nice metallic, and obviously the hole in the back for the base. As you move down to the butt, it's actually a little bit molded over here on there. It's butt time. It's sponsor time actually. Well, it's not really technically not a sponsor, it's just part of her pantyhose thingy she got going on. As I move down to the boots, nice and silver with a stripe of yellow, and the high heels. For the articulation, gonna start this off with the hat, goes forward, goes to the back. This barely tilts side to side, is kind of weird about that, and it goes all the way around. The hair in the back is on a ball joint, so you have some wiggle room with that. Not a lot, but still goes all the way around, obviously. Same thing for some nice battle poses. And that's something I feel like they really thought about for battle poses. I'll get to that in a second. But then you have the wings on ball hinges, so those move up and down. They are a little bit strained if you want to try to move them around. My personal recommendation is, if you don't want to break anything of this off, always put them in this angle, put them straight, and then it's way easier to rotate them and then get them back into position. Don't do it like that, because it's kind of like strafing over here, and it's kind of harder to move around, and I'm honestly afraid to break the ball peg off, so don't do that, guys. That's my personal recommendation. As I said with the... Is this a feature again? Are we having more of this? Yeah, okay, so the chest is pretty loose. The shoulder goes up nicely, as I showed you earlier. This splits apart. Has the ball in the chest area, so you can rotate that around. Also on a swivel, basically, while the ball joint moves around. But you can technically swivel it over there, but you have to hold on to the ball for that. Got one ball hinge in the elbow and another ball hinge for the fist. Goes forward, back, rotates all the way around. And then the loose chest. It is a ball on a pack, so you can rotate it on the upper part and the lower part, and now I can't get it back in because I can't see it on the camera. Goes forward just a little bit because of big boobies. Goes to the back and forth, does tilt side to side, leaves a little bit of a gap still, and goes all the way around. And as you've seen during this review, mine's pretty loose. Gonna tighten that up with some super glue or see-through nail polish. That's like my recommendation. See-through nail polish is better. Then for the legs, goes for some high kicks. Goes out to the side and goes to the back, and the entire hip area rotates around nicely. And this is one that you can pull out. Not that part. That part. You can pull out the hips for better range, and just overall very nice articulation. As I was talking about the battle poses, these parts of her dress are also on ball hinges, so you can rotate that out and a little bit forward. So, you know, when she comes flying in and whatnot, that it looks actually natural. That's pretty cool. Can't really do anything with this, but that's soft plastic. If you would put a hinge in here, that would just look awful, and don't do that. Also has rotation in the leg area, then the knee goes all the way up, and I have a quality control issue. That's like the mold is kind of bent over there. It's good on the other side, but yeah. Also, you can wiggle this around. I say wiggle because I wouldn't want to push on it too much. Don't strain this because that might also break off, and the foot barely has any room as such. It has barely any motion. Goes back and forth, has side to side wiggle room, and tilts also just barely to the side. So the feet are very limited. And here you got all your accessories, starting off with the hands. You got one trigger finger hand, one kind of open hand for the staff, and two completely open hands, and this one just kind of just open. Again, more open. Some more, some less. Then you have all these parts for the wings. I'm not really gonna focus much on that. It is kind of yellow see-through stuff. Really, it's just pointless to show you all of these. I'm just gonna put them on the figure before I get to the final thoughts. So give you the final look. Also, here's the gun. Has some nice gold on there. And the gun looks mostly clean. I say that because we're moving on to something which is not... Well, I guess there's a tiny bit of bleeding, but not really any complaint. However, the staff has, yeah, they kind of... You were so close. You were so close, good smile. But then that staff, you were, yeah, bleeding. It's still fairly small. I don't want to make a huge history out of it, but it's still there. Also, the gold goes over the line over there. So overall, staff is pretty sloppy just at this part. And the mold of it is great. As you can tell, you have hinges on each of those, so you can get that up. There's no healing beam. Wait, like a healing beam that comes out of that. Nothing? No energy effect really. Figma is kind of bad at doing energy effects, and I don't know why. Then you got the face, the angry face looking to the side. Same thing as the other one. I love the mold of it. He has kind of like the rounded nose and the sharp eyes. Good. Very happy with the faces. And then finally you got your Figma base and your Figma bag for your accessories. And there it is. This looks beautiful. I mean, I love the wings, and the wingspan of it is really impressive. And that's gonna bring me to the final thoughts. As a figure, I love this. I love the paint on it. I love that some of it is metallic and like shiny down on the arms. And you have the see-through wings and the differences between the orange going into the red. All very, very nicely done. Articulation is also good. Accessories, you could have a little bit more. Could have like an energy beam and maybe another face. I'm kind of disappointed that you only have like the neutral face and an angry face. For mercy, you have only neutral and angry. For mercy, no like smiling or closing her eyes or whatever. Just that kind of bums me out. But for the rest of it, just tiny details, like really, for example, there should be detail in her stocking, in her pantyhose or whatever, but there isn't. The torso, which is way too loose, but that can be fixed, but that's really it. And those are my only two complaints, like that they didn't do that and that the torso is a little bit loose. Now this figure comes at a price, and I still think it's worth it. I still think it's worth it. It just looks so nice, and you can do some really cool poses with it. You can do it with the wings or without the wings, and yeah, recommend it. But that's gonna do it. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Mercy wants. I need to wait for her to turn around so I get that beautiful face with the blue eyes. There you go. What she wants? Well, maybe like a torso joint that doesn't disconnect all the time, but that's about it! Wow, that was a long outro.